Hey there friends on YouTube, it's your boy Zeals. Thanks for being here today again. And if this is your first time, thank you for dropping by and joining my journey. And if you want to come back for more, make sure you hit the subscribe button. And if you've been here before, again, I love you guys so much and I'm so grateful. So how are you guys doing? I'm doing great. I had a day off. I went to go watch The First Man. It was a really good movie. I hope you guys watch it as well. We'll discuss it on Discord. Anyways, I promised you guys with a follow-up video for Cthugha, and my initial video had a lot of positive responses, which I'm grateful for. Before I start going over my tests and results, I want to reiterate once again, some guy left a comment asking why I repeat some info more than once. And this is why. Seriously, I get asked or told something I already stated in the video. So what I want to reiterate is that I have more clips, a couple hours worth to be honest, of different slots, enemies that I fight, etc. The clips I'm showing you are just an average collection, not picking the best or the worst to show you guys what's really going on. I'm going to be straightforward and going to state what I was testing and the results. So are you finally ready? Okay, so first I wanted to test Cthugha's damage by himself and Belrain for the heals and the attack buff. Alright, so Cthugha seemed to be doing an average of 20 to 22 million, sometimes 18, so 18 to 22 million with the dragon pet. We're gonna go over what he's wearing and his stats later on. So remember, I'm fighting a broken space boss, so that's versus 2 targets, and also the targets have high defensives. You can tell this as the dot damage is being reduced and not dealing 25% of his attack value. And in case you're wondering, it is very easy to find out his combat attack value if you care. I know some of you guys be like, oh, I don't really care. What the man, who's gonna pause the fight or who's gonna calculate that mid? Okay, this is for people who want to min-max, alright? So just to know what you're trying to fine-tune like a car. So some things to note in this situation is 1. He does active every other round in this situation where he's being hit by 2 targets, fighting against these 2 targets that are always consistently hitting him. This is not going to be the case when you're fighting against a Marauder, single target, or PvP, okay? So in my situation, my controlled setting, he does active every other round, okay? So he gets, he does a basic, gets hit twice, and then he does his active, right? So number 2, holy damage buffs. As I said in the first video, his dot and his damage portion of the active, the 236%, the damage portion of the active, not the detonation. Number 3, the holy damage buffs, burns and bleeds it gives through taking damage does detonate or more. Of course, since the dots are bigger. I'm going to tell you these values a little bit later. So number 4, if you watch carefully, his non-crits do the same exact damage to both targets, making it very easy to test, okay? For all the mathematicians out there, including myself, I did a little bit more than I wanted to be honest. Number 5, without pet active buffs, he does roughly 550k actives and 1.1 million crits per target and 820k to 1.6 million crits with dragon active buff. Alright, so second test, I wanted to test Cthugha with Heart Watcher. Once again, as I said in the first video, the dots he puts out are affected by mark, weakens, armor break, holy damage, etc. Number 2, averaged low 50 million damage versus these targets under the conditions I discussed in the first test. Alright, so with Heart Watch here, he was doing about 50 million damage. Okay, that's the conclusion. Third, I wanted to test a comp that gives Cthugha a lot of power by including high burn and bleeders, aka double Valkyrie E3, Sia to test his cap. Also wanted to see how much damage he took from these friends, or the damage he dealt with these friends, quote unquote friends, helping him out, because he's not a cool friend because he's gonna steal or borrow or take their damage and then padded up. So first, the first thing I noticed was Cthugha has 282,000 attack with Belrain's buff and 308,000 attack with Belrain and the active buffs. So this Cthugha's detonate cap is 2.8 million to 3 million. This means that with double Valkyrie, he's able to cap his detonate. However, pay attention, boys, really. Okay, alright, so when his detonate is capped on the fight, it shows the true number of the damage he dealt on the fight. In the combat, when you watch, I'm sure you guys don't really watch because it's like double speed, but it's the damage he deals in combat is what you see. But the end of the battle damage report, it shows the uncapped number of the detonate. If you don't know what I'm talking about, I covered it in the first video, okay? So if he detonates all the bleeds on the target, on the end of the fight, it shows the true value without a capped, okay? Without the cap being there, okay? It shows like the damage of him not having a cap. This is why I said he is a padder along with transferring others' bleeds and burns into his damage with that added 20% bonus. So until this is addressed, the damage at the end of the fight may not be the true value, especially if you run a high bleed, burn team in PvE or PvP, however you build your team. All right. So second result, the team with double Valkyrie, Sia, and Belrain and Cthugha did about 20 to 30 million average more versus these targets than not bringing him. So bringing him, added about 20 to 30 million more. This stayed congruent with the first test where he was barely breaking 20 million alone without these, burn and bleeding heroes. Okay, so you can see the test results as not bringing Cthugha boosted the double Valkyrie's damage and Sia's. 3. Try the same test with Heart Watcher as well. Results were congruent. 4th, I tested Cthugha with all those burn bleed heroes versus Scary in the same lineup. Scary was able to keep up to Cthugha's padded damage. And 5th, I tested Cthugha with full burn bleed hero to support him versus a full team without Cthugha, but replacing him with a Valkyrie or other low damage dealer, and the result, the damage of both fights were similar. The concluding fact is that it's better to bring another PvE hero than Cthugha until he is changed or buffed or some other hero comes along that boosts him even more. 6. I tested other pet stones with or without artifact. Okay, as for the Scary versus Cthugha, I made sure both had crit stone and both had no artifacts to make it fair. The Cthugha that you're seeing today is using a crit stone. Okay, I wanted to see how big of his crit could be, and with crit, not crip. So I wanted to see how big his crit could get over an hour course of fight. The biggest I saw was near 6 million, even with Heart Watcher, with all the burns and bleeds I can throw at him. Okay, and I tried using energy artifacts on Valkyries to make sure it lines up perfectly, and etc, etc, etc. But yeah, right, 6 million in around 15 with a Heart Watcher, that's not very big because of detonate again, right? It has a cap and it's not affected by weaken or marks, etc. Conclusion, better to use Holy Damage Stone or crit for PvP. If A, you are in a server with a lot of attack steal reduction, B, if you don't run double Valkyrie, C, if you have issues with survivability since his passive heal is worse than block or blocking versus heavy hits. So yeah, the stone conclusion in PvP is gonna be hard. Not hard, but Holy Damage Stone or crit for PvP for more personal burst. All right, because it's gonna be harder to reach that cap. Unless there's any changes, that's what it's gonna be in terms of PvE. Unless you're running like I said, double Valkyrie, you don't have to really run attack stone as well. The artifact that I use for these tests, I did strip the artifact like I said versus when I was competing against Scary, but the artifact that I used other than testing with Scary was, what was it? Oh yeah, the Magic Stone Sword, okay? Alright, so there you have it guys, that's it. Those are the results. I think I answered pretty much all the questions. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. I know there was a lot of information. I tried to abridge, edit it, shorten it as much as possible. My note went from like 4 pages to 2 to 1 page. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Thumbs up, make sure you hit subscribe, and if you have any questions or comments, leave it down below. Keep it friendly, PG rated. If you want to support me, you know what to do. Hit me up on Patreon. I really appreciate your help, and I'll see you guys. I'm out.